Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. M, and on this channel I talk about my doctoral journey, and I also give tips that you can use on your own doctoral journey. These tips are meant for educational purposes only. So let's go. So you've started your doctoral journey, or maybe you have been on this journey for a while, and I want us to talk about two things that you should avoid doing on this journey. Believe me, I've walked that journey. I've done that before, or I've experienced these two things, and they only led to frustration and a feeling of insufficiency. Okay? So, when you join the doctoral program, there are a lot of expectations, obviously. And I know you would have also set your plan of how you're going to conduct your study. When are you going to collect data? When are you going to do the literature review, and so on and so forth? And this plan was probably approved by your committee, right? But life happens when you're on this journey. And some things are so unexpected that, it may just throw you to the curve. And in that process, you find yourself as a candidate or even as a student on your postdoctoral journey or on your doctoral journey or even on your honors journey, master's journey. And this can be very frustrating. So, number one, self comparison. Don't do it. And when I say self-comparison, it might be you as the candidate feeling, you want to be at the same level as your cohort members or as your classmates, or, your committee expects you to move at a certain pace or a certain rate. Sometimes you will be compared, your performance will be compared to those who are maybe ahead or doing better than you. And what that does is it creates a lot of frustration, and you begin to feel like you don't belong. And this is also linked to the second point that I want to talk about. But in the first instance, let's concentrate on self-comparison or on comparison. Every doctoral journey is different. Put that in your head, right? And always remember, you might experience similar challenges sometimes. You might go through certain things that other students and candidates have also experienced. But your journey is unique. Your journey is going to be different. Some of the challenges that you face are not going to be the same challenges that other people will face. So when you start to compare yourself like that, it doesn't lead anywhere but to a lot of frustration, and that begins to also play around with your mental health. And a lot of times we don't also speak much about mental health, but this is a very, very important component of your journey. So to make sure that you are remaining healthy, recognize the challenges that you are facing, what are the weaknesses, and come up with intentional action plan of how you can overcome those challenges. Yes, it's good to get inspired by your colleagues, by your cohort members, but never make it a comparison race, a comparison, theme, because you are unique, you are different. And sometimes, for example, you might be facing financial challenges, right? Another student might also be experiencing financial or funding issues, but you don't know where they stand. Maybe they would manage to get a scholarship or a grant, which you do not manage to get. Then what happens? You understand? Some people maybe come from a background, maybe from a family that is able to cushion that financial distress that they might be experiencing, and you might not. So then what happens when you begin to compare yourself? Some people, could come from a research-based kind of background, and they're able to conduct research, on the fingertips like this, whereby you still are learning the process because you've never done this before. It's a completely new terrain for you. So then you are not comparing apples to bananas. It can't be. So be self aware of the dangers of self comparison, whether it is coming from you, whether it's coming from your supervisor, whether it's coming from the people around you because they saw you begin your doctoral journey at the same time with X, Y, and Z, and X, Y, and Z has already got on to defend their proposal. Maybe they've already gone in the field, they've already collected data, and you're still struggling. So be aware about the effects of you trying to live on that comparison thread, kind of, right? Sometimes your colleagues, your cohort members might easily find respondents, so it will be quicker for them to collect data, whereby maybe you are interviewing different elements in different companies, and you still need to go and get permission and people to accept to take part in your study. So that's why I'm saying you will face different challenges. Don't compare yourself. Move at your pace, a healthy pace, because once you identify your challenges and you come up with intentional plans, action plans that help you overcome such challenges, you are doing fine. And remember to always celebrate those small and those little successes that come along the way. That is what gets you to the next stage. Okay. Point number 2 that you should avoid on your doctoral journey or on your graduate journey is feeling insufficient. Now, this is something that will always be there, I guess. You cannot say that you will be able to eliminate this imposter syndrome completely. This feeling is always there. And especially if you are venturing into something new, and that self-doubt sets in, and you begin to question yourself. Are you capable? Are you able to do this? Are you good enough? Are you in the right place? Because you didn't get to this space where you are currently by mistake, did you? No, you went through the process like anybody else, and you qualified on merit. You were picked on merit. So yes, you are capable. Yes, you are in the right place. Yes, you are sufficient, and you are capable of conducting research, because I don't think they would have picked you by the board or by the committee into the program, right? So there is always this self-doubt that comes, and a lot of this also sets in when other things in the background are not falling into place. So, for example, if you are self-comparing yourself to other members in the program, colleagues in the program, and you feel behind, then the imposter syndrome also it takes traction, because now you feel like I'm behind, everyone else is ahead, and I don't know, maybe I'm not supposed to be here. Don't listen to that voice. You must be able to identify that voice and speak to yourself. So I did a lot of self affirmation when I started feeling that sense of doubt. And I would say, no, I'll just cut that thought out and reaffirm to myself that I am here like anybody else. I was qualified and I was picked on merit. Okay, so I might be facing some challenges in specific areas of my doctoral journey, but I am capable. And because I am capable, then I need to find solutions of how to overcome that. And you find that sociologists and other, social scientists actually talk about what they call social comparison theory, where a student or a candidate tends to compare their performance based on their colleagues or other members in the program. And you can do this in two ways, where you compare yourself to people who are doing much better or ahead of you, like your colleagues maybe have already collected data, but you are still maybe, trying to even get research participants to agree to take part in your study. And you begin to compare yourself, because now you're feeling like you're behind, you are questioning yourself, you're doubting yourself. And what that brings about is a lot of frustration, a lot of, like I said, you just feel like you are lost, you are behind, you don't know what you're doing or what to do, But you can also find yourself comparing yourself to those who are behind, far behind. So you are at a certain stage in your program, and there are those who are still far off behind in the same cohort or in the same class, right? So there are those who are far ahead. You could be maybe in the middle, and then there are those who are behind you. And when you compare yourself or your performance to those who are behind, then you kind of feel better, right? You feel, but I'm doing much better than so and so, right? It gives you confidence. But I always say that also is dangerous, because you can become complacent, you become too relaxed, because hey, I'm not the only one who is behind, at least I'm ahead of you. You understand? So in general, it is good to look and to learn and to get inspired with what others are doing, and the levels at which they are. But you should never use that to compare it to yourself, to rate the level at which you are. Because, like I said, obviously, it leads to a lot of frustration. And a lot of people have started these graduate programs and they've not completed. And there's so many factors that may contribute to that, but I know that one of the leading factors is frustration, a poor mental health state, because there's a lot of frustration going on. You feel all these things are not working out. You feel stuck. You don't know what to do. And they end up just giving up on the program. So don't be a statistic in that regard. Always, be intentional about every step of your study. Be intentional, have an action plan, have a system, and have a structure that guides you through your program so that you can complete and cross the stage. So I hope that you learned one or two things, and that this has been motivational for you and encouraging at the same time, so that you can continue you know collecting data, writing, if it's writing, doing your data analysis, going on to prepare for your defense. I would be happy for you to share some of your graduation photos once you walk the stage. Good luck, and I wish you all the best.